Welcome to Linux for the Rest of Us, episode number 80. The big 80. Infinity Zero. And what we do on Linux for the rest of us is we talk about Linux things, Linux news, Linux distributions, Linux software, Linux around the world. And it's how do you say a hash? I just looked up that word. It's a hash of Linux goodness. That makes me a little bit hungry, actually, too. All right, enough of me rambling. Let me bring on the man who brings the goods, adds the ingredients to the hash. The door-to-door geek, Steve McLaughlin, the Linux maven. What's up, Door?
Hello, Steve. Nothing much. Just we both might be a little wordy, slipperidge tonight, and maybe slur because this is a late recording for us.
Yeah, and I do historically horribly well on late recordings as far as coming up with things just like words. Sometimes just nothing comes out of mouth, but sometimes it's completely wrong. So yeah, this should be interesting between the both of us, I think.
Exactly. People are going to need a thesaurus when we're done.
And they won't find anything we say in it.
Exactly.
So, what is going on these days?
To be honest, a lot of stuff. I don't know how many people are aware of this, but a good friend of ours, the podcast, the techiegeek.com, Tracy Holtz purchased the domain thenewradio.net, and he wants to do a lot of streaming stuff. Okay, he did the things right. Okay, he purchased a plan with a company that literally says unlimited connections, unlimited bandwidth. The stream is in 64 kilobits, but we need a way to manage what's being played. And the software offered by the providers, a web-based software, not very dynamic, not very structured. You basically just dump a whole lot of stuff into a folder on their server and hit play, and it plays it. Well, if we want to have an actual structured environment of, at 7 p.m., this show is going to start playing, and at 9 p.m., we're going to start streaming this show live, kind of thing. We need to have a little bit more structure involved. And the basic involves, do not be afraid to try to go ultra niche. Okay. Yes, you can basically take a Ubuntu desktop install and convert it to almost anything with some work and some elbow grease and some installing and some configuring. My logic is why? Just find a distro that already comes close to your needs, and then just, you're already halfway there, kind of thing.
Right.
Well, the distro I found is called RAA Ubuntu. RAABUNTU.
Okay.
What this is basically a custom Ubuntu respin, as they call it, that has already pre-installed a application called Rivendell. Every time I hear it, I want to say Rivendell or Ravenscroft or something.
Yeah, I immediately thought of, Mordor and the Lord of the Rings when you said it.
Well, that, and then back in the day, I used to play D&D, and there was a series called Ravenscroft where it was vampires and stuff, which wasn't as much fun. I kept getting killed. Surprise.
Whenever I played D&D, I got thrown out of the game several times. The dungeon master just wouldn't have me around. He just wouldn't take it.
Yeah, they didn't like me too much. They often ended up sending me down a hole to get something, and I would get attacked by beavers or something.
All right, so what is RRA Ubuntu?
Okay, it's the custom respin of Rivendell, and what Rivendell attempts to be, and I'm going to say attempts to be, but it really does. It attempts to be a radio station in a box.
Huh.
Now, a quick pre-thing, I know for a fact there are 2 radio stations in production right now that use this as their main interface to play content. One of them is a Boston area college, and there was one in I think it was Chicago. where they basically load all their stuff in up into here and then hit play.
It looks cool.
Yeah. Now, the live version just booted up, boom, worked perfect. Installed it, didn't work perfect.
Really?
Had to, yeah, because I didn't read one of the screens. Because as soon as you load it up, it says, "This is your first boot. Do you want to automatically configure Rivendell?" Yes. Yes. Okay, click. Okay, click. Okay, click. Click, 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 click. And then it says at this one part, put in a username password. Well, I didn't read it right. And I put in the wrong information. And I said, screw this. I'm not even going to try to fix it. Just reinstall. Because this is Linux and it only took 15 minutes.
Right.
And then I redid it. And then it worked fine. But then I rebooted a second time. And now it's not picking up audio correctly. So I got to troubleshoot that.
I got you. But does it look promising for what you guys are trying to do?
When it was up and running, more than promising, perfect.
Wow.
I mean, literally perfect. Here's one of the pluses that I think I gather from this that could make it even better. Because the last thing you want to do is every week go in, spend 20 plus minutes or whatever, clicking, changing, uploading, and doing all this extra work. It looked like you had the ability to put in, to reference, RSS feeds.
Wow. That's
Dude,
like automatic radio hands off.
It's gold. It's gold. Period. All I gotta do is go create my own custom RSS feed, and then when X show gets released, I just go into where I'm doing my feed in Drupal or WordPress or whatever, and just add it. Done.
That's great.
Yeah. So I'm gonna play with it here in the coming weeks, and I'm gonna report back on it. Because it's based upon Ubuntu, certain things were ultra easy to get set up and going, and I hope fixing stuff like the sound will just be a little stupid quick fix.
Sure.
But it was much less painful than going and trying to build up my own.
Totally.
Know?
I'm into it.
Okay.
Looks cool.
Yeah. Okay, next thing I want to talk about is Raspberry Pi has now a case. This is why I love open source, Steve. Somebody designed a case for it and then uploaded that as a 3D like print file. So using a 3D printer, you load this file into it, hit print. Voila, what comes out is your 2-part Raspberry Pi case that hooks together. And now, if you did get a Raspberry Pi, you have a box for it.
Wow. Neat.
And it looks sharp, looks good, because from everything I read, ventilation is not really an issue with this. So you can have it actually enclosed.
I see.
So this looks very useful, very functional. And if I had a Raspberry Pi, I might try to find a way to get this printed.
Now, do you not have one because you couldn't get one? I mean, they were sold out?
I couldn't get one because their distribution channels completely suck. They told the people, look, okay, we're not going to sell this ourselves. We're going to go to these 2 pre-existing companies that do this, that sell computer equipment, and we're going to have them do it. And they told them both, look, this is very popular. You need to have extra bandwidth available for your servers. You really do. And I guess both companies, posh, what do they know? Well, 1 a.m. came in my time, and from 12:59 to 1:40, I was banging the keys. I had banging it on this computer, banging it on that computer, and then on my phone, I was hitting it on 3G, thinking, I'll hit it from a different angle.
Yeah.
None of them could I even get the favicon to load.
Jeez.
Much less the page.
It's amazing.
And I was following their Twitter feed that said, this guy's already sold out. So I'm hitting. And at 1:40, I just said, I'm going to bed.
I would have done it too, yeah.
So, No pie for me.
So are they still sold out?
They are sold out. They said by the end of this month they will have more available for sale, and they said um production has ramped up.
Well, that would be a smart thing to do, wouldn't it?
Maybe, sure, yeah, maybe, yeah. I hope.
Well, the case looks cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
sharp.
it needs to be some red in it.
You would well, because it's using a 3D printer. When it's done, you can take your Sharpie if you want.
Yeah, totally.
Get a little colorful. I'm just hopeful that when it comes the end of the month, I might be able to attach to their server. We're gonna have to wait and find out.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, I know. And Cody Cooper, I believe, still has the offer available. If you buy anything from podnutz.com/deals, forward him the receipt. He will give you his copy of the Linux for the Rest of Us video series. And he said he will donate me $35 towards my Raspberry Pi. And a super quick mention, the specifications of the Raspberry Pi changed. Okay, there was the A and the B. The A had no Ethernet port and had 256 megs of RAM. And when it came time to launch, they only sold one model. And it was basically, they said, this is going to be the new A model. And this model had Ethernet and 512 megs of RAM. So it seems like they replaced their A low-end model with their high-end model, but gave it at the price of the low-end model. And it looks like they might come out with something with, I guess, even more RAM.
Jeez.
Later. I don't know. It's confusing.
It is confusing. But I thought the low model was $25.
Right. So they were sold the B with the extra features, but they called it the A at A prices.
So they were going for $25?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
It is amazing that it actually... I'm actually amazed that it actually happened. The thing went into production and it's out there for $25. The $25 computer. You know, you never think after hearing it that it would be for real or actually happen, and it did.
But yeah, everybody swore vaporware can happen. Right. This is like the OLPC guys for the little the notebook for $100. It ain't gonna happen.
Right. It happened.
Yep. And there is more devices coming, I will say. Ellis Owens is a super fan of a device called Cotton Candy, where I'll say, if the Raspberry Pi is the door-to-door geek device, then the Cotton Candy is the Chris Berry device. He likes his multi-core, 16 gigs of RAM, SSD drives and stuff, 30-inch monitors. I basically get my stuff out of the dumpster almost. Cotton Candy has a dual-core processor, quad-core video card. I believe it was 1 gigabyte of RAM, Bluetooth, HDMI, Ethernet, everything. Size of a USB thumb drive, just a little bit longer. And that one is going to be anywhere from like $120 to $200. That's going to be out in like 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah. And then later in the show, we have another similar S device to bring up.
Awesome.
Okay, next thing is really a video. Ubuntu for Android gets shown off at Mobile World Congress. This is at omgubuntu.co.uk. And just say real quick, the Raspberry Pi thing was just, I got a geek.com article, and RAA Ubuntu is that SourceForge.
Cool.
Man, Steve, people almost had me convinced, you're never going to get it. Don't worry about it. It ain't going to be that good anyway. Then I went and looked at the video.
It's awesome.
Oh, I want it.
Should I play a video?
Well, it's it's almost 4 minutes long.
Let me play a couple minutes just so I can see it. I want to see it. Now you got me all excited about it. So it's they got an Android phone hooked up to a monitor, basically.
To a dock.
A dock.